Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing good. I am. Hopefully this video doesn't make me cry. It's called Why American Lawns All Look the Same. Which, as an American, I don't know if I'm supposed to be offended by that. Is that an insult? They all look the same. I mean, they are all mostly made out of grass. But my lawn's Kentucky bluegrass. My neighbor's is tall fescue. So, I'm offended. They have a slightly different hue. No, I mean, they do all look the same. I didn't know that was, do European lawns or Asian lawns not look the same? You guys don't have like as big of lawn, like front yards, right? In general? Well, I mean, people out in the country do, right? What am I talking about? I don't even know. But the video is by half as interesting. Go check him out. Awesome channel. Really popular channel. It's a great, so I already know it's going to be a great video. Let's learn. I need to learn today about my lawn.
The #1 irrigated crop in America is not corn, it's not soy, it's not high-quality educational YouTube content. It is, in fact, grass. A crop we
I never thought about that, but that makes sense.
cannot eat, that cannot support an ecosystem, and frankly, doesn't even look that cool.
Goats eat it.
Now, that might not sound too shocking to you. Grass is everywhere. It's natural. When you boot up a new Minecraft world, you'll be met with thousands and thousands of blocks of grass.
Exactly. That's what we, here in the real world, we were inspired by Minecraft.
That's how nature works.
To put grass everywhere.
Well, no. At least not on this continent. In fact, pretty much all of the grass covering the United States wasn't there a few hundred years ago. Our obsession with this little green plant was a choice, and the iconic American lawn is actually a fairly new invention.
Really?
But how did
Well, I'm kind of pissed because I hate my grass. I hate mowing it.
grass become the default plant of the American suburb? And why do we spend billions of dollars and millions of acres farming a crop that doesn't actually do anything?
But it is like a carpet for the outside, you know? Like as a kid, running around, falling down, I appreciated the grass being there, except for when the chiggers come up and bite your ankles.
Well, now that you're locked into watching an educational video essay about grass, let's start by talking about something that's not grass: cannibalism. When Europeans first came to America, their plan was simple: find whoever was already
You never know what this guy's gonna say. You really never know.
there, give them smallpox, and then rely on them for food supplies for the next several decades. This didn't work, and within 2 years, the Europeans had resorted to eating each other. The taste of settler got old quickly, and they started importing livestock. The problem with this second plan was the same as the first plan, though. There was still nothing to eat. Most of the native grasses in New England, like broom sedge or switchgrass, would only grow
That's grass? What even am I looking at? This looks like a... I have no idea. It looks like fabric.
in warmer months, and the cows would basically drive them to extinction, bringing all the cows with them.
See, cows eat grass too.
And then all the settlers again. So the American colonies were really only able to stabilize after the import of foreign grasses like perennial ryegrass, Bermuda grass, and Kentucky bluegrass.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Kentucky bluegrass is from Algeria.
What?
That state had exactly one thing going for it, and it was a lie. Now, that explains how modern grass got here, but doesn't explain why 80% of American homeowners have a useless, empty...
Is that why my grass dies so easily? It's not even meant to be here? Like, what? Why don't we use native... whatever.
square of it sitting in front of their house. And to explain where that came from and why a bizarre number of people are still legally bound to keep that square alive is a little more complicated. When America first started to urbanize, homes were built European style, close to the street with private gardens in the back and cigarette smoking
Right. That's what I meant when I say Europeans don't really have big front lawns, right? Because they're closer to the street.
Children in the front. But as long-distance trains became increasingly
child in the
popular
front.
and started to bring people outside their immediate town or city, neighborhoods needed a way to signal to wealthy traveling outsiders that they were high-status areas, and one of the easiest ways to do this was with lawns. Why? Well, because the only way to make grass grow back then was to throw money at it. Not literally, but you know, it's The only way to make grass grow back then
This is an awesome clip.
was to throw money at it. Not
4 different people. Well, she's like flattening it, but 3 different guys mowing the
it
lawn.
was expensive. In most parts of the country, these foreign grasses weren't necessarily built to survive, and there weren't pesticides or chemical fertilizers to keep them alive. Maintaining a healthy lawn of Kentucky bluegrass required constant replanting and around-the-clock maintenance. Both clears
It's already too much maintenance. Now I'm upset. This is why I have to maintain my lawn.
Signals of wealth. Basically, grass became popular because of how bad it was. If you could defy nature for no reason other than to tell people you were rich, you were probably rich. But then things got weirder.
My lawn does not make me look rich, so it's completely pointless. And the thing about front yards too is nobody even plays on the front yard. I mean, that's not really true, but it's kind of true. Like the backyard is much more used than the front yard.
Over here in Long Island, New York, a guy named William Levitt founded a town called Lev Town around the beginning of the 1950s. There was an ongoing affordable housing crisis, and Levitt had set out to solve it. He created an assembly line construction method for building a suburb, putting up a brand new identical house roughly every 16 minutes, and each and every house came with a lawn. Now, this was partly to make these homes seem more deluxe than they actually were, and managed to distract people from the fact that Levitt Town didn't, for example, have basic plumbing, but it was also
What kind of plumbing did it have?
bizarrely a political move. Lawns, it turns out, are a weirdly good tool for social control. Levitt distributed strict pamphlets on lawn care to every single resident and placed a covenant in their deeds that required them to mow their lawns at least once a week between the months of April and November.
Oh my God, so annoying. This is why I will never live in an HOA. Having anybody tell me about what I need to do with my yard and stuff. Because that's what an HOA here, a homeowners association. I don't know what the equivalent to that is in Europe or whatever. But it's where they get to tell you stuff like this. How often you need to mow your lawn and what you can and can't have in your yard.
If they failed to do so, he would have their lawns cut and charge them for it. If that sounds creepy and conformist, that was exactly the idea. Levitt wanted to convince the government that his suburb was keeping people in line because they were subsidizing all of his housing and essentially letting him rewrite whatever zoning codes he wanted. The idea was, if you were busy enough mowing your lawn, you wouldn't have time to read Das Kapital. That's
brilliant.
not even a joke. It sounds like a joke, but that's literally what they thought would happen, and they were basically right. Given the success of Levitt Town,
It's true. Maintaining this yard is way too much work. I mean, there's leaves all over it right now. I literally have to like rake it, then mow it down to mulch the leaves.
became the blueprint for new affordable suburbs all over the country, and the creepy anti-communist grass stuff came baked right in. Homeowners associations, which all started popping up a few years after Levitt Town to privately manage suburbs around the country, still enforce many of these same sorts of regulations.
So the HOAs are really just anti-communist organizations. And you have to pay them too to live in an HOA.
That Levitt put into place, which is why we still go around arresting people for letting their grass grow wrong, even though we can't even remember why we cared about that in the first place. So there you go. The reason your parents have a small patch of this particular plant in front of their house is because 200 years ago, this
My parents.
plant was really hard to maintain, which turned it into a status symbol, which was used to lure boomers into horrible factory houses with no plumbing, which were in turn used to distract them from learning what the phrase means of production meant. Mystery solved. But here's another mystery.
Wow. I'm upset now.
How do you cook for one person without wasting a huge amount of food and money? Well, the
HelloFresh, duh.
answer to that mystery is simple. Hello Fresh.
What did I say? Lawns are, well, here in Indiana, they're more popular than ever. Everybody has a lawn, but I will say they're going out of style in some parts of the U.S. People have like pebble yards, and I'm all for it. That's what I want. Pebbles. You don't have to mow pebbles. I've been transitioning my yard to native prairie grasses and drought-tolerant flowers. And the city has only recently stopped threatening to forcibly mow my yard and bill me for it. What do people care about? Right, because they are against communism. At one point, it was extra silly. I had a lawn sign commending my yard as great for the community bees from the department of the city and letters ordering me to cut my lawn from another department. That's funny. Oh, man. You're free. In America, you have freedom of religion, but not freedom of grass seed. That needs to be enshrined in the Constitution. Freedom of grass seed. Freedom from grass seed. That was really something else. Go check out Half Is Interesting. Link down below. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.